So I caught the last 15 minutes of this discussion, and they were talking about Kennedy Carter's hard foul on Caitlin Clark. And it was a crazy foul just because it was an inbound pass, and Kennedy just shoved her with her shoulders like Jesus Christ. They really do not like this girl, but it was a crazy foul. Like if this was the NBA, because Kennedy said she doesn't regret anything. It's like, man, that's the wrong thing to say. If this was the NBA, she would have got a heavy fine and maybe a suspension. So we'll see what happens with her. But so they were having this heated discussion, and at the end, McNutt was trying to allude to saying that Stephen A. and First Take didn't cover First Take that much. I mean, they didn't cover the WNBA that much. And Stephen A. said, "Who talks about the NBA? Who talks about women? Who talks about women's sports more than First Take?" And McNutt said, "Stephen A. respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to." So that's it's a crazy thing to say because she said respectfully, and she totally disrespected this dude. Now again, I got my own issues with Stephen A. Smith. He said things over the years that I don't agree with, and before I made videos, I used to post this stuff a lot on Twitter about the things I disagree with Stephen A. Smith. So I am not a Stephen A. Smith stan by any means. I actually like the old school Stephen A. Smith, the quite frankly Stephen A. Smith more before he became this version. But okay, that's a whole different thing. But I will defend him in this situation. Yes, First Take probably, I think they're both right. Like they could have covered it more, could have covered the WNBA more. But they have talked about the WNBA and women's sports. Like McNutt is on Get Up every day with Mike Greenberg. First of all, I don't think she would have ever said that to Mike Greenberg, because how often does Get Up talk about women's sports, especially 3 years ago? How often? She's on Around the Horn. How often do they talk about women's sports? They might talk about it a little bit more, but probably not that much more. You know, Love PTI, they don't talk about women's sports that much. Like the person she actually should be upset with is like Malika Andrews. Like Malika Andrews, like when the NBA season is over, like you have the NBA draft and you have free agency, but for the most part, they can very easily become the WNBA today. And they can have a WNBA. In fact, how come there's not a WNBA today show? Like, don't get mad at Stephen A. Smith. Like, First Take is his show. And the one thing that I do get frustrated with First Take, and especially with Undisputed when I used to watch it, is that they just kept on talking about the same people. Dallas Cowboys, LA Lakers, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott. It's the same topics over and over and over. And as a viewer, I get frustrated from that. But they do talk about women's sports from time to time, but it's not that much because they talk about the same stuff over and over. And the reason they don't talk about women's sports that much is that the casual fan doesn't talk about women's sports that much. And it's very sad. Now, listen, I'm a WNBA fan. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I watch every game. I treat the WNBA like how I look at March Madness. You know, I don't watch men's college basketball that much anymore, but I'm there for March Madness. And that's how I look at the WNBA. Like, I don't watch it that much during the season, but when it's time for the playoffs, I tune in, and especially in the finals. Like the Las Vegas Aces versus the New York Liberty with Asia Wilson versus Breanna Stewart. Fantastic series, great attendance, really good ratings. It shows the growth of the league. So I'm a fan of the league. I get upset when I hear men criticize women's basketball because most of those dudes are out of shape. And I say, man, most of those guys probably don't have daughters. Because if they had daughters, who especially enjoys basketball, they would never say that. That's why it hurt when Kobe Bryant died, because Kobe Bryant, one of the things that he wanted to do before he died was that he wanted to bring a bigger light to the WNBA because he was coaching his daughter's team. And be sure to check out ESPN on Sports Center, Sports Features. They had a story on the Mamba 5. It's the remaining members of Kobe's team, because when Kobe died in a helicopter crash with his daughter, it also took two of their teammates and their coach, number one of their coaches. And these girls were like 11 years old at the time, and now they're 18 years old, graduating from high school. So it was a really good story. But yeah, so when Kobe died, I didn't know who was going to be that great spokesman, that ambassador who can bring more casual fans to the W. And then we had the whole thing of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in college basketball, which is like a Bird Magic thing in 2023, which was fantastic, which is great for the league, and that spilled over into the Vegas and the Liberty finals last year. And the league continues to grow. But the thing is, you need these casual fans. The reason that like on The View a few months ago, I think they was discussing how the women of the WNBA should be making as much money as the men. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen because they don't have the TV contracts. like it or not, when it comes to these things, TV contracts is the way that everybody makes money. What people forget, when Bird and Magic first came into the league, their games were on tape delay. The NBA was in a shambles. Their contract was horrible. But then Bird and Magic clicked in, so you grabbed the casual fans with the Lakers and the Celtics. Then there was Jordan. He brought in a whole bunch of people. And then you had Kobe and Shaq and KG and Allen Iverson and all these, and then LeBron. Like, and you keep on, and the league just keeps growing and growing and growing, where they have these huge, big TV contracts. Like, they got this new one coming up. That's why someone like Karl Anthony Towns is making far more money than Michael Jordan did, which is insane. And not to knock Karl Anthony Towns, but the reason he's making this money is because of how the TV contracts kept on going up every year. Like, MLB makes a lot of money with their TV contracts. And to be honest, there should be no MLB player who makes more money than LeBron James. But they don't have a cap in Major League Baseball, which is crazy. But yeah, most of those guys who make all that money, you don't even know who they are because the TV contracts are so big, all these pitchers are making a ton of cash. The thing about the W is they don't have enough casual fan. So with the Caitlin Clark thing, with these hard fouls, I get it. It's like, welcome to the league, rookie. Even though I don't think Caitlin Clark has really been disrespectful to the vets. The vets still don't like her, but that's on the media because the media put her on this pedestal like she's the greatest female basketball player ever, and she wasn't. But to be fair to her, like when she was, there's a video of her during March Madness last year where she met Maya Moore, who was her idol growing up. Maya Moore played for the Minnesota Lynx. If she would have played her full career, she would have been probably the greatest WNBA player ever. But she turned to social justice. Beautiful woman, great gal. But Maya Moore, Caitlin Clark was in awe of meeting Maya Moore. So I don't think Caitlin Clark hates these women, but some of these women hate her. But I get the whole rookie thing. I get why they're doing hard fouls. But if they keep on doing this and she gets hurt, I'm telling you, these casual fans who are just showing up for the W to see her will go away. As much as Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart and all these Diana Taurasi and all these great players are playing in the league, they're not grabbing a lot of casual fans. And if Caitlin Clark goes down, a lot of those fans will disappear until she comes back. Or if they don't like all these hard fouls, they'll stop watching the league altogether and just watch clips on YouTube or TikTok. Now, the one thing that's really good about the league coming in is that you do have this group of rookies. It's not just Caitlin. You have Angel Reeses in Chicago. Cameron Brink is in LA, which is the smartest pick because I said this fits. Because Cameron Brink, she plays hard, but she looks like a model. And every day when she comes in, it's a fashion show. And I'm sure next season, probably even towards the end of this season, there's going to be a lot of fashion designers lining up to put her in outfits for her to be photographed and put on social media for endorsements. That's more of the casual fan. You need these people. That's how you're going to make the big dollars. The league, let's say Caitlin Clark flames out, or let's say Caitlin Clark never becomes even Diana Taurasi. She's not the second coming Diana Taurasi. Okay. Let's say the fans go away. That's going to hurt the league. You need the casual fan for eyeballs. You got when it's time for TV contracts and you go to these networks and you say, hey, these are our ratings. If these people leave because Cameron Clark is hurt, the TV networks are saying like, well, we're not going to pay you a lot of money for this. You had ratings and then it went down after she left. We're not paying you. It got to be consistent. So, like it or not, people, Caitlin Clark is very important. Again, she might not ever be anything. She's up and down right now. But right now, she's the golden goose. And you got to respect that. Now, as far as McNutt goes, I'm telling you, man, if this was reversed and Stephen A. would have said that to McNutt, they would call him sexist, misogynist. He hates black women. Everything. So listen, man, when it comes to the totem pole or ESPN, Stephen A. is high up. Like, McNutt is okay. Like, I got nothing against McNutt. She was always going to have Greeny and Get Up. And she might be back on First Take one day. But, man, that comment, man, it was uncalled for. So when people say, like, oh, yeah, she got Stephen A., she cooked him and all that stuff. Yeah, she cooked him today. But she probably won't be on First Take tomorrow.